I know it shouldn't be. It never should be, but sometimes it is. Please make sure it's not.
Typically, it's only private after a.
Pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Still.
It's not private. It's public.
There it is. I see it.
Yeah, that's a video type I could. Oh,
welcome to episode 54 of the OVW Fan Zone Live. This is where fans talk back. My name is Jackman Oaks.
I'm Brian Hines. How is everybody doing tonight?
Joining us, as always, is Tiny Brian back there. Tiny Brian, say hello, please.
I'm a disembodied voice.
Tiny Brian, you heard him back there. He's also in the chat room as at OVW Podcast. Tag him with all of your questions, comments, concerns, anything wrestling related, OVW related. He'll be compiling that. We'll be responding to it as the show goes on towards the end of the show in our final segment. Malachi, is everything okay back there?
You owe me for one of these last time.
Nah, I'm out on all that.
As the rules.
This is the power of the... You're wearing an NWO t-shirt. Like, this is
And?
the spiritual successor to...
Is it though?
that. Yeah, kinda.
It's the newer one.
You're being a buzzkill.
There we go.
So is Malachi,
think
for
I
what
heard
it's
a-
worth.
I think I heard a crow at the end of that I've never heard before.
It was the Crow.
Yes, Brandon Lee
yes.
just showing up.
Rest in power.
Jeez.
So yesterday on our YouTube channel just went up. It usually goes up right after the end of the show. It's actually already up. For those of you that have checked it out, appreciate it. For those of you that haven't, our 100th episode of our podcast went up yesterday.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
100.
guys.
That's crazy.
Appreciate all of you guys for the past couple of years of listening to this. For those of you in the wider OVW world that maybe want something different to listen to and don't know yet, we host a podcast called at OVW Podcast. You can find it on YouTube and everywhere else that you stream. We celebrated our 100th episode yesterday. It went pretty long. It went over 100 minutes.
That was the longest one to date. It was 1 hour 47 minutes, I believe.
I really wanted to get right at 100, but we were having fun.
Yeah.
That would have been funny to me if we get hit right at 100 minutes. But we probably could have edited out like 7 minutes worth of me talking about my feelings. But it's in there. It's in there, guys. You guys go check it out over at OVW Podcast. We also sat down with Rob Edwards this past week.
That's correct.
It's been, I guess it was about this time last week. Thursday of last week, right?
Friday morning.
Friday morning of last week.
11 a.m. local time.
So less than, which was, I guess, 4 for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 for him in GMT. Is that what they have in
Oh, I don't know.
England?
Yeah,
Greenwich Mean
pretty
Time?
sure they are on Greenwich Mean Time.
GMT. Yeah, we sat down with him. He's a wonderful guy. There's been a lot of positive things said about him, and there's a lot of positivity around OVW right now. And after sitting down with him, I think it's easy to see why.
Oh, yeah.
He's very well spoken, very charming. Can't wait for you guys to sit down and get to know more about him and on our podcast, which is also over on our feed with Rob right now.
3 main top line takeaways from that. Why don't we mention them here? LVW is going to be staying in Louisville. There's no chance it's going to go to England or anywhere else. They're going to try to make OVW a tourist destination for people who come to Louisville for tourism, and that's a lot of folks. And right now, almost none of them know OVW's there. And OVW is going to engage with the community like it hasn't before. If I interpret, do you guys think that's a fair assessment of what Rob
That sounds
saying?
like exactly the plan, yes.
I would say that is pretty succinct there, Tiny Brian, about what Rob brought to the table and intends on bringing to the table further down the road for Ohio Valley Wrestling. So that's kind of all of the stuff on our end there as far as our podcast, what's going on, what else you can find that we do over on YouTube. Brian Hines, where can the fans find the superstars of Ohio Valley Wrestling around the state of Kentucky and other places, actually?
Well, it's funny that you ask because I have a list right here. Every Thursday, you can find OVW live at legendary Hot Point Davis Arena. Doors open at 6:15 p.m. That is 4400 Shepherdsville Road in Louisville. OVW Rumble at the Raceway Series coming up. We've got Ponderosa Speedway in Junction City, Kentucky. That is June 21st and July 19th. OVW Hard Reset at Hot Point Davis Arena. That is June 14th. That's just a couple of Saturdays from now. There is a free all-ages show at Element Eatery in Cincinnati, Ohio on June 28th. Our favorite shows of the year happen at the Manchester Music Hall. The next one is coming up on July 5th. There is also a newly added show at the Courtesy Acura here in Lexington, Kentucky on the following Saturday, July 12th. And
That's a fun one for kids.
And that Courtesy Acura, Brian, you're not, as someone who's not lived in Lexington as long as the rest of us, the gentleman who owns that is sort of a local celebrity.
Oh, yeah, I heard them talking about him
Yeah.
in Wrestlers, and it's come up here in conversation
He's
recently.
sweet. I can't quite do it.
They're all fun for kids, but I know that Courtesy Acura kind of goes out of their way to make sure kids have plenty to do out there. So just a heads up for all you families looking for something to do on a Saturday afternoon.
Awesome.
I'm going to pop a bounce house.
Okay.
Is that
thanks for a warning. Is that code?
Yeah, is that like one of those old slang from like Urban Dictionary that like the school kids would pass around the schoolyard that was describing dirty stuff?
Psst, hey.
No, it was mostly about how I was actually fat.
I don't know if you know this, but Brian's going to pop a bounce house.
He did what? He popped a bounce house.
For real.
Yeah, it flew 150 yards.
I mean, it does kind of sound like a dirty Sanchez or something like that,
Okay,
right?
easy guys. I don't have a P. I just took down the PG-13 side. Let's move along. What else is going on the tour?
We just have one more stop to make mention of. That is OVW Independence Rage at Hot Point Davis Arena. That is July 26th. You can get tickets to any and all of these shows at OVWTix. That's TIX.com.
So, yeah, the only new one, I guess, is the Courtesy Acura show, right? Right?
It would appear so.
Do you have any? I got to ask right here before the break. Do we have any Haverfordwest updates?
Not at this time, no.
I know that they're going to be playing in the European leagues, like the way it works with with all of these Premier League football clubs in Europe is if you do well enough in that league, you get to play in like the European League with a bunch of basically your peers, the people who did well in other Premier Leagues across Europe.
Well, what's the World Cup? Are they going to be playing the World Cup?
So the World Cup it only happens every 5 years, I think it is.
What about the Olympics?
Those
That's
are
every
4. But the World Cup is basically, none of the rest of that really factors into it. Or maybe your standings do.
So Haverfordwest is not in the World Cup?
Not as yet.
That's not
We'll,
how that
we'll call that.
I actually know that's not how
Look, I'm doing my best over here. I've watched Ted Lasso. That's the best I can do for soccer.
Oh, well, if you just milk a cow long enough, you can have a big old house and bring the moon home anytime you want. That's every episode of Ted Lasso.
I have seen 0 episodes. Of Ted
I
Lasso.
just did the whole season for you.
Oh, well, then I don't have to watch.
Well, let's go ahead and take a break, and everything will be okay by the end of the episode because none of the writers know how to do a thing called conflicts in tension.
We have writers?
We'll be back right after this.
Okay.
Hey, to all my friends at the OVW podcast, congratulations on 100 episodes. You guys have been killing it from the beginning, so I'm proud to say that not only have I been a part of the show, but I'm friends with you guys, and I really love what you're doing. And would I lie to you? Because, I am a really good guy, right? Hope y'all have another 100, 200, 300 episodes. Keep it going, but don't ever forget what made you unofficial. Y'all have a good one.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
I'm Keith, and I'm in the OVW Fan Zone.
Dream a reality and attend the world-famous Harvard of Pro Wrestling. The OVW Academy with Al Snow, the birthplace of legends including Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, and many more. Will you be the next name added to that impressive list? Visit OVWacademy.com and apply now.
Welcome back, OVW Fan Zone Live. This is where fans talk back. My name is Jackman Oaks.
I'm Brian Hines.
I realized you guys couldn't see the screen there. That
No.
was the last one that was mostly silence was actually Jay De Niro's take on whether or not he's in the fan zone.
Oh,
He just
that's
kind of
good.
stares down the camera and then turns away.
Oh, we just got it.
Oh
over
yeah,
here.
we're seeing it now.
Yeah, we see it on our monitor. We see it on our monitor now.
That's pretty fitting.
Well, now we might have to get a new one. Jay's changed a lot since then.
That's true. Yeah.
So we might have to see what Jay De Niro is up to. Well, maybe we give him a couple weeks after last week. I don't know if he's gonna be camera ready after Tony Evans took part of his ponytail.
Yeah.
I guess only time will tell with that, right?
We do have a question about that later, so we can kind of air that out
I saw
a little
that.
bit later in the show. I do have that one caught.
Great.
I am catching questions, comments, concerns, complaints, declarations in the chat room. Anything that I think it would be interesting for us to talk about later. I'm doing a little copy pasta, and we will
Know what
we
that
will
is.
get to it at the end of the show. I'm doing a little copy and pasting. That's
That doesn't sound like something I want from dinner.
no, you wouldn't want
No.
that. So
So-
let y'all want to do a little review?
Please, let's go ahead.
All right, so let's get into our review here. First of all, our first match that we talked about last week was OVW Women's Champ Sophia Rose pairing with lovely Miss Larkin to take on J-Rod and Freya the Slayer and who we thought was J-Rod at the time.
Right.
Turns out that was not who Freya tagged with. It turned out to be
Tegan Thorne.
Tegan Thorne, right? And Freya still managed to pull that out, which Jackman, you predicted. Brian, you went with the champ and the therapist.
Well, I mean, I really felt like they were going to win. I mean, you can ask her. She's in the chat. Lovely Miss Larkin's right here.
Oh, hello, lovely Miss Therapist or Larkin, yeah, or landlord. Did you see that there's now landlord
yeah,
Larkin?
I saw that.
The Larkin cinematic universe is growing exponentially.
Not as a fan of the landlord Larkin.
Well, you got to have some down notes to kind of make the other ones really shine.
I don't know. She's got a lot of explaining to do about hoarding all of the property.
I mean, yeah, that's a whole other discussion. Let's see. I did really enjoy that tag team match, including the new knife.
Yeah.
I think, and Miss Larkin can tell us in the chat if she is so inclined. I feel like she may have some questions about the efficacy of the knife that Sophia gave her. It didn't seem to quite do the job of the old knife when I was watching that match back.
Yeah, but the engraving was
the sentimental
beautiful.
value was certainly
Yeah.
there.
It really was.
The font, I just love the font in which the engraving was done. It was so great. Both of you did correctly assess that Adam Revolver would beat UK defensive lineman Cash Daniel one-on-one.
Yeah. I think that we weren't surprised by the ending of that match, given that we both predicted it, but Adam Revolver sure was.
Oh yeah.
Adam Revolver.
He was really surprised. when he pulled
Camera
one
caught
out.
a great view of Adam Revolver's surprise amazement almost after he was able to hold Cash's shoulders down for 3 seconds. Kudos to Adam Revolver. Kudos to
That's
Adam Revolver.
roughly what it looked like.
Looked
at the
a
end
lot
of the
like
match.
that.
Yeah.
It was a big O. Yeah, we got it on the pod. If you go watch our podcast on our YouTube right now, we do have that moment.
Not
and
right
we
now,
kinda look
after
at-
this show.
After the show,
Yeah.
yeah. After this, go watch it, and we do mention it. Let's move along to. So yeah, both of you predicted that. Pretty great matchup as well. I really enjoyed that. Then we get Dustin Jackson and Cal Hero tag teaming against the Trifecta. This was certainly an amazing match to watch. You both predicted the Trifecta would get the win. Unfortunately, no one really got the win because the Revolution showed up and things went south.
It's a shame for the four of those guys in the ring, no matter who was going to end up coming out victorious. It looked like Dustin Jackson was really about to squeak it out there. No matter who would have ended up becoming victorious in a match that didn't end in disqualification, these four guys kind of deserved that match to go on a little bit longer. These are four of the hardest working guys, and that match was tremendous until Doug showed up.
We do seem to have Landlord Larkin in the chat.
We also have JJ Lawson.
We do. Hello, JJ.
Among other people, there's a lot of people in here tonight. There's Radio McRadio Face. There's Becky, Roy Bischoff, Victor Anderson, Just tons and tons and tons.
We're doing
of
the
folks.
romper room thing now. I see Brian and Jack. You remember Brian?
I do.
Yeah,
I
love the
remember romper room, but I don't remember specific things like that.
At the end of the show, they would call. She would just stare at the camera and call names. It was very creepy in retrospect. But anyway, let's move on to our third one, which was Tony Evans with his new insurance policy, Drew Hernandez, taking on Jay De Niro.
That's a point.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that is a deduction.
And Jackman, you in fact correctly predicted this would not end with a decision at all.
I've been watching Tony, been fortunate to have watched Tony for the past couple of years intently, for a while prior to that. And there's no way, based on what I know about him, sitting down talking to him a few times, based on what I know about him, there's no way that he didn't tell Drew Hernandez, hey, here's the game plan. Don't let that guy anywhere near me, right?
And you were right.
All right. And then our final match from last week we looked at saw Showtime Shanklin taking on the OVW heavyweight champion Mount Kadeem. Or Ma Kadeem, depending on what your notes say.
Mount Kadeem, I think, it's just not Showtime's time yet to be pulling off matches like that, to go up against guys like that. He's still a little young in the game. Mount Kadeem's a big guy. Mount Kadeem's the champion. I do want to say, though, that Eric Surge, who's also a champion, Mount Kadeem and him will be facing each other at Hard Reset, of course. Eric Surge continues to show himself week in and week out as more and more of a benevolent champion, more and more of a gregarious champion.
A happy warrior might be a good way of describing it.
Coming out to Showtime's aid this week. I think
the true leader at that.
Yeah, and a leader. Yes, a leader.
Put his body on the line to save Shanklin in that moment.
It's good stuff from Eric Surge. Very, very proud of Eric Surge. Happy for Eric Surge in the year that he's had so far.
So, all right. So with that, we are just about ready to get into the most popular segment on OVW Fan Zone Live. It is time for Predictions!
Are we supposed to get excited too?
You don't have to.
Okay, because we didn't.
No. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Kicking off what we know about tomorrow's OVW Rise, we have a match where we see Freya the Slayer taking on one lovely Miss Larkin. So, with Miss Larkin here in the chat room, presumably staring at your faces, making masks as we speak, what's your predictions?
Brian Hines?
Freya's been on a tear ever
disagree.
since the waterfront.
Can't disagree.
And I understand why. I get it. She wants the title back yet again. She's what, 4-time right now?
I believe.
I believe that is what they said.
She's looking to be a member of the 5-Timers Club.
Right.
Lovely Miss Larkin. She's not just going to. Well, several. I'm sure we will see several people from Lovely Miss Larkin tomorrow night. It'll be an interesting match.
She is basically the one-woman faction.
Yeah. That she is. I'm interested to see whether or not she is able to sharpen that invisible knife, the new one, because she just said in the chat a minute ago that she went to Michael's and she got a pencil sharpener and she was going to work on that tonight. So
okay,
I'm going with Lovely Miss Larkin.
All right, Jackman.
I'll borrow from my friend here. Freya the Slayer is on a tear. She has been upset for a handful of weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. These are all things that you said. I can't disagree with a single one of them. As much as I love Lovely Miss Larkin, and we have sat and defended Lovely Miss Larkin, and we've been some of her biggest cheerleaders. We're no Chris Runyon. But
true.
We love Lovely Miss Larkin around
Very
here.
few people are Chris Runyon.
That's true.
And we love Chris Runyon, too.
That's true. That's true. Chris is a great guy. But there is still something unproven about Lovely Miss Larkin. And I know that she's sitting with us in the chat, and I hate to have to stick to being, what's the word I'm looking for?
Grumpy Jackman?
No,
Objective?
objective. Thank you, Brian
Okay.
Hines. That's a better word and more accurate to how I actually feel. I'm not being grumpy today. With her sitting right here, I still have to be objective. I don't know what we get with Lovely Miss Larkin every time. Like she's an X factor. She's a variable that she's yet to be
she
solved.
is the most variable that has ever variable.
Yeah, we're still solving for X with Lovely Miss Larkin. Freya the Slay is kind of a more sure thing right now. That's what I said last week. That's what made me pick Freya's team last week. I've got to stick with that same thought process, and I've got to go with Freya this week.
Yeah, I don't hate on that.
Wrestling Biggest Fan said, and I'm pretty sure this is for you, Jackman, boo.
Hey, I get it.
All right.
But
But,
a lot of new folks in here tonight. Thank you guys all for joining us.
thanks, everybody. Yeah, Prairie, we've got a wrestling promotion in here.
That's a new one.
Oh, that's
what
dope.
was the other one? Let me go back a little bit. Our local establishment. Is that the name of
Yes,
it?
we've
Yeah.
already got it. We've already got some comments from our local establishment for later. So.
It's a great name.
Yes. Thank you
a great
guys
name.
so much.
All right. Let's move on to a triple threat match. I would imagine this has implications for the Rush Division ladder match that we're going to see at Hard Reset.
I'd say so.
But tomorrow we will see one backbreaking artist, Jake Painter, taking on a member of the chat room this evening, the excitement, JJ Lawson.
Oh, JJ's in the chat too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love JJ.
And then finally, Chris Exodus. So 3 relative newcomers to OVW. I guess Painter's been here probably longer than any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Jackman, what say you, my friend?
Again, I hate to. It's hard and increasingly harder to stay objective when there's 2 people from that we're talking about in the chat tonight, and I appreciate both of those people joining us. And,
Yes, thank you.
And hopefully both of them hopefully know that they're welcome in this studio any time that they can make it down. We would love to get an interview with you guys, whether it be on this show or on our regular podcast
Or on video. We'd love to even just catch you on
Yeah,
in a video
Zoom.
chat. Yeah,
Zoom.
we will.
Or
Won't
we can
actually
do
be
hand
Zoom,
puppets
but
or,
we'll do
or
something.
whatever, you know?
Again, like I'm saying, it's hard. It remains harder and harder to stay objective. Like JJ Lawson, like what I've seen from him. Definitely not forgetting who he is now, right? Chris Exodus, seen a little bit less of, impressive, but not as memorable, right, so far as JJ Lawson.
Sure.
Which leads us to our third component of this match, Jake Painter. Jake Painter, someone that we've seen a lot of, someone that we've seen put in and get so close, within biting distance of some of these victories, right?
Yeah.
You know that he's looking at a match like this and saying, I think I can win this. You know he's looking at a match like this and saying, I've wrestled these matches before and I should have won them before, and now's the time that I've either got to like put up or shut up. Now's the time that the rubber meets the road. Whatever metaphor you want to use, that's what Jake Painter's thinking. And with that head full of steam, pay-per-view implications, potential walking away potentially as the Rush Division champion that night at Hard Reset, but first has to beat JJ Lawson and Chris Exodus to get there. I think Jake Painter's got to be the victor tomorrow. I like Jake Painter. We've been saying this for weeks. Jake Painter's kind of got to get his head straight. These are matches that he should be winning. Let's start now.
Okay. That's solid. I don't disagree with any of that. And again, I'm just now seeing that this is what we've got going on tomorrow night. Excuse me. We haven't seen Chris Exodus a lot, but I'm sure we will see more soon enough. And he wouldn't be part of this match if he wasn't, he didn't have an equal chance to win,
Right.
just like everybody else.
Absolutely, 100%.
And
100%.
like we've said several times,
It's anybody's night on a Thursday night.
Anybody's night on a Thursday night. I expect that we'll see more of him. Jake Painter has come a long way lately. He's made some significant progress and angled himself to be in a prime position for this division.
I haven't used my nickname for him in weeks now, so.
Yeah, I think that needs to be retired.
You notice I haven't. That's my point. And there are people who get little nicknames from me when they first show up, and then they kind of prove themselves and they lose them. And some of those people have belts now.
They prove themselves and they lose themselves.
In the music, the moment they own it.
That's not the lyrics.
That is a deduction. This time around, after that last, how many people were in that match where we saw J.J. Lawson do the 450?
Oh, it felt like 8.
Yeah.
It was everybody.
It was everybody and their brother and uncle. I'm going with the exclamation pant, J.J. Lawson.
So that's one for Painter, one for Lawson. He's made that joke before.
I have. I must have missed it, or it did not. The exclamation pant is.
It's like he's like 3 or 4 times to
yeah,
the well on
there's
that
like,
one.
Well, yeah, there's like one long side and then there's like one short side. And it's just, it is what it is.
All right. Let's get into our next one. This we'll see the OVW Media Champion, one Dustin Jackson, Louisville's native-born son, taking on a son of Scotland in the form of Crixus. Both of them will have people in their corner in the form of Cal Hero for Dustin, and of course Tony Evans for our good friend Crixus. Gentlemen, what say you?
Before we get into this match, let's take a moment. We know that Cal Hero has huge implications at Hard Reset depending on who he chooses as his tag team partner.
The biggest.
If he loses, he's out. He's gone. If he wins, 5 minutes alone with Doug. Big implications for Cal Hero.
Yeah.
Past couple of weeks, it seems like him and Dustin Jackson have been very friendly. They've been very friendly for a long time. Former tag team champions together.
I mean, they're the fanny pack party.
Is Dustin Jackson going to be the one to get the call for Hard Reset?
That's been the question on our minds here the last couple of weeks.
I don't know what else Dustin might have going on that evening. He is a title holder. It is a pay-per-view. It is a Saturday night at Davis Arena. You would expect, most of the time that means every belt's on the table pretty much.
Usually does.
I don't know if Dustin Jackson has a match that evening, but it kind of seems like Cal Hero's looking at Dustin pretty intently right now as a partner for that evening. If it's not Dustin, how do you think that makes Dustin feel?
Ooh, that is a good point.
These guys have been boys. These guys are dogs, right? And when the time comes, Dustin, if he chooses anyone else other than Dustin right now, I think that could really, really spoil these two boys' friendship and chemistry. Dustin's been there every single week, every single time. Think about when Cal came out after the last pay-per-view and said, I need this match against Ashton Adonis. I need it. I need it. And Dustin tried to protect Cal, tried to say, hey, I don't think your head's all in it. I don't think you're right now. And eventually, we figured out that Cal was right. Cal, his head was in it. He did best Ashton Adonis that evening. But these guys have been friends for a long time, especially recently. And you got to ask, if Cal thinks it's going to be Dustin, why has he not already asked them? Why do we not already know that information?
That's true. That's a very good point.
And is Dustin Jackson going to get left out to dry by Cal Hero after putting his butt on the line so many times for Cal over the last few weeks and years at this point? I think that's something to keep an eye out for. I think that is something. I think that there is real potential there for those two boys, for there to be trouble in paradise, as they say, between those two boys.
As long as we're on the subject of Hard Reset, I do have a theory on who Cal Hero's partner would be.
Okay.
Would you guys like to hear it?
Sure.
Sure.
Now, I've no inside knowledge. This is just me kind of speculating that Tulsa King's probably going to have a break at some point soon for a couple weeks. And if it works out just right, who you might like to see come back for one night only might be a certain proprietor of a chop shop.
What's his name in the show? Bigfoot. Bigfoot.
But of course, we know him as Cash Flow.
I call him Mike.
I mean, yeah, you can call
I
him
call
Mike.
him Mr. C.
You really do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that would be interesting. I think it's going to be a return. You guys have kind of bunted that around a couple of times yourselves, that it's going to be a returning person. I wonder if it'll damage the Dustin Jackson relationship, but
listen, man, we know this about Dustin Jackson too. Sitting down with him in the studio, his basically about a year at this point being back at OVW. He wears his heart on his sleeve, man. He's a genuine, caring person who will do a lot for people. And if Cal doesn't choose him, it's very hard. It's very, very hard to be there for somebody and then feel unwanted when it counts.
Are we talking about wrestling or are we talking about real life? A little from column A, a little from column B?
Both, man. It's both.
And then let's talk for a moment about the Revolution. Is this a house dividing? Is this a house fracturing?
I think while we're talking about like the Revolution in terms of this match, the Cal Hero Dustin Jackson versus Crixus with Cal and Tony Gunn, respectfully. I think that if we're seeing a large fracture, then Tony and Crixus are probably going to remain friends. It seems as if right now they kind of have a common enemy in Doug. I have a sneaking suspicion, again, like, we don't know nothing, I don't know nothing. I have a sneaking suspicion Doug's already found his replacements for the Revolution. I have a sneaking suspicion that we're firing everybody and we're rehiring at a lower rate and we're bringing in scabs, right? That's what I think, Dustin. I don't think Doug's going to be ready to just let go of power completely, right? The Revolution's given him so much. And you've heard him say it 1,000 times, he is the Revolution. It doesn't matter who else is in it. He's going to go find the biggest, the best, the baddest, or at least in his brain. I think that we could see a whole new, basically, Revolution 2.0 or something, not like black and white per your shirt, but like 2.0.
Well, the Revolution logo already uses red, so we'd have to come up with a different color for the shirt.
You know what I'm saying, though. I just think that could be. I think there might be a fire sale over at the Revolution. Is all I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just speculation. Just speculation.
So who do you think's going to win? Because you brought up some interesting points, and now I'm going to have to reconsider what I think might happen.
So between Dustin Jackson and Crixus tomorrow evening.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin Jackson.
All right, Brian. What is your where's your reconsiderations brought you?
So it's Dustin Jackson versus Crixus, and both are accompanied
by their people.
Okay, I just wanted to double check because
Yes.
just glancing at the notes, I wasn't exactly sure what was going on.
I did leave the W out on the slash for Cal Hero, but
I don't know. Long story short, I think I'm going to go with Dustin Jackson by disqualification.
Ooh, look at you. Okay. All right. And I will note your by DQ. And let's move on to our final match that we have announced. It does feature the OVW Women's Champion, one Sophia Rose, taking on a woman we've seen performing on Rise the last couple weeks, or a couple weeks ago maybe now, Rachel Lay.
Love me some Rachel Lay. I've been a fan of her since the first time I've seen her. Very unique in the women's division right now. Doesn't have, big, huge gymnastics background.
That's apparent. Yeah.
Employs it
crystal clear
every chance that she gets. Very, very, very athletic. Love her as an addition to the women's division. Glad to see her back. Hope to see more of her. Don't matter. Sophia Rose. As I used to say about Dustin Jackson, and still will say about Dustin Jackson, if it's a Thursday night in that place, Sophia Rose is having a run right now akin to Dustin Jackson when he first got that champion his title belt.
Yeah.
Where we said it earlier tonight, and it remains true. Anybody can win on a Thursday night in Davis Arena. Anybody can win anytime in OVW. There's just something about the run that Sophia is on right now where it just feels like she's untouchable. And I think that it's going to take someone a little bit more experienced in the ways of OVW than Rachel Leigh is right now to best Sophia Rose. I'm going Sophia Rose.
That's pretty solid. I would agree with most of that. Rachel Leigh has been a fantastic addition to the women's locker room as of late. We are seeing her more and more. The more we see of her, the more impressive she comes off. I haven't seen her have a bad match.
Don't think she has.
No, the gymnastic component is spectacular. I mean, if it was, I don't think it's going to just be Sophia Rose and Rachel Leigh. If it was, I would go with Sophia Rose because I still believe it's the year of the Rose. But given the women's division title picture situation, you've got a lot of other people who are out there for that title.
Sophia Rose comes
Freya.
attached.
You've got J-Rod. You've got, Tegan Thorne was in there last week.
Yeah,
Lovely Miss
I
Larkin.
think you can now throw her into that same conversation.
I think there is going to be, it's going to be one of those finishes where Freya the Slay and Lovely Miss Larkin, their match is not going to settle it for the night for them. And it's going to be one of those deals where the action keeps going through the end of the night and spills out into the ring. And it's just going to be one of those finishes where it's like, Jim Morrison gets arrested on stage in Miami in like 1970, and it just ends in a riot. I think it's going to be something like that. But what do I know?
I'd like to say go ahead and give him the point for next week. You got your.
I'll say I've added the word chaos in our notes, and I have put Brian's initial beside chaos.
Yeah, no, go ahead and give him the point next week. He's right on it. He's right on. He hit the nail on the head.
And we've got a few more appearings. I went ahead and grabbed that poster just so we can take a look at it.
Perfect.
Set it?
Oh,
Yeah,
I see the little box up there now. Okay,
yes, we
cool.
do have our magic box as usual. Let's see who is in the also appearing window. Can you guys see that?
Not yet. Getting there.
I think we're about 45 seconds behind.
We've got the tag team champions, probably the whole trifecta.
Good to see Anthony Katina back. Wasn't there last week.
I thought I saw something where he was going to wrestle Superior Tony Evans.
Katina and Tony Evans.
I think so.
That'd be cool, but yeah, I don't.
They've run that back. They did that when Katina first came. It'd be nice to see that again. A few months into Katina's run.
Justice Davis, both the Z's. I think I see a little spicy quesadilla.
Gotta have Angelica Risk. Gotta have Angelica Risk. If you can get her, gotta have her on the card.
The barefoot guy.
Elijah Eros.
Elijah Eros is apparently on the card.
I was thinking about it. him.
Cash Daniel, Justice Davis.
Okay.
So pretty good.
It's kind of hard to see everybody because on my computer screen that window is teeny tiny.
Yeah, so we got a lot of meat on the bone as we do every Thursday at Davis Arena for Ohio Valley Wrestling. We can find all of your tickets for OVW at OVWTixTIX.com, right?
That's right, yeah.
If you guys haven't been, if you're watching this show and you've never been, it's like the most fun time in the world. Just go ahead and pop in 4400 Shepherdsville Road, Davis Arena. Have a
Just
good time.
like the new commercial says, if you haven't seen OVW live, why haven't you?
Why not?
Why not?
We'll say one more time before we go to break that when we're done here, and we're going to get to your questions next. So stay put. But before we do, when we're done here, make sure you go check out the latest episode of our podcast, episode 100.
It was one of the most fun that we've recorded. It was nice to sit back. In fact, after recording it yesterday, I feel like I have like a new energy on this show. Like I feel
Definitely.
much more laid back. I feel much more comfortable tonight. And I think a lot of it is because of how nice that show was yesterday and reminiscing over the last 2 years. And hopefully that energy takes us through the next 100 episodes.
Yeah, now that we've got the first 100 episodes under our belt, pressure's off.
And then we also have the interview with new OVW CEO Robert Edwards. So make sure you go look at that
That's
as
over
well
there.
on our
That's
feed.
true.
Yeah, that's a double dip for you guys. Some good stuff over there.
Oh, OVW has came into the chat. Is that you again? Sometimes Malachi can do that, but this is actually someone at OVW congratulating us.
Thank
on
you
our
so
third
much.
episode.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
OVW TV. We literally couldn't do this without you.
No.
So I think it's about time, don't you think?
Yeah,
Jackman?
let's we'll take a break. We'll be back. Final segment up next. This is the OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back.
Hey guys, Amazing Maria here, and
Maximo Suave.
two of the OVW podcast most favorite supporters, and we just wanted to wish you guys, happy 100th episode. We are incredibly sorry that we could not be there. As you can tell, we're in my office. We are stuck at work. I'm going to be here.
It's not a ring.
It is not a ring. I'm going to be here all freaking night tonight. This jabron has to go wrestle on a show. So we wish we could be there with you guys. But you know what? Here's to another 100.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
This week, hopefully we'll have this all straightened out. Get your tickets.
Dream a reality and attend the world-famous Harvard of Pro Wrestling. The OVW Academy with Al Snow, the birthplace of legends including Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, and many more. Will you be the next name added to that impressive list? Visit OVWacademy.com and apply now.
I'm Nick, and I'm in the OVW fan zone.
Yeah.
I'm Linda Feist, and I'm in the OVW fan zone.
Zone Live. I'm still Jackman Oaks.
I'm still Brian Hines, and we're still here.
And we are still here. I'm still standing.
They didn't cut us off during the commercial. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
How did Elton John get so bad by the time that I'm Still Standing came out?
What do you mean?
That's a bad song, man. That's not a good song.
It was,
not a
and
good song.
I
Can't win
listened to
'em all.
his autobiography a couple of summers ago when I was driving back and forth to Hebron for work. That was a time in his career where he'd had like some rough patches.
Okay,
and
I could tell.
He made it through and felt rejuvenated, much like we do after our 100th episode.
Is that also the time period where he did That's Why They Call It the Blues? Because that song's also not great.
Somewhere around there, yeah, I believe so. I couldn't tell you whether it's the same album without looking it up. But,
When I saw Elton John on his Greatest Hits tour, I can tell you for sure those two songs were not played.
Oh, really?
No, those
Wow.
two songs were not played.
All right.
I can tell you that he has visited Kentucky before because when I was little, my mom and dad took us on vacation to Mammoth Cave.
Oh.
And we were going to go take this one specific tour when we got there, like at this specific
Isn't that
time.
where Donovan comes from?
Yeah, actually, it's his cave.
Yeah.
But we got there in time to do it, but we decided that we were going to like take our time, and we went on the next tour. If we would have gone on that original tour, we would have gone on that tour with Elton John.
With Elton John?
Is what the tour guide told us
Wow.
after the fact.
Do you think
That's hilarious.
you think he's working you? You think he was ribbing you?
I mean, I was 8, so of course I bought it hook, line, and sinker.
I think it's a better story if it really happened.
All right, let's get into some fan questions, shall we? The most pressing one multiple people have brought up is about Overdrive. Overdrive was not a new episode this week.
That's right.
And several people asked, but Becky answered that
She would know.
Yeah, she would know that they were on holiday. It was because of the holiday that Rise was not new this week.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes total sense.
But Miss Becky also, and go buy some merch for Miss Becky when you're at Davis Arena. She is the merch person for OVW. But she also lovingly
does a lot. She does a
lot.
lot
But
for
that's where
OVW.
she's most visible on Thursday nights.
Of course.
She also lovingly disabused me of the notion of Cash Flow being Cal's partner.
Points for Miss Becky.
Yes. So yeah, but that's our most pressing issue. Overdrive will presumably be back with new matches next week.
That's right. That's right.
So let's see. Then a new guy in the chat tonight, H-Man. Early on,
got a couple new chatters tonight.
Couple of new chatters.
That's great. That's what I love. That I love that.
And one thing I noticed is somebody in the chat told one of their friends, and then their friend joined the chat.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So big, like a big podcasting group and a wrestling promotion, and some of their stars are
Right?
here.
Thanks
So
for
we
joining
love
us
having
tonight.
you guys.
Thanks
so,
for joining us tonight.
Yeah, I am humbled and honored. Thank you so much.
Let's see. H-Man, who, like I said, relatively new to the chat room, asked, "What did you guys think of Tony Evans when he cut off Jay De Niro's hair?"
That is about one of the heeliest heel moves that you can possibly make. I mean,
There wasn't even a stipulation about it. He
no,
just
no,
did
it wasn't. It was just, I'm going to do this because I want to embarrass you. Truth be told, you should be embarrassed that you didn't get a better pair of scissors and you didn't start the fire at the bottom.
That's where my head's at. Is
the whole ponytail off.
Is
I'm glad he didn't.
Could have gotten.
Don't get me wrong.
Those are the scissors that my grandmother used to cut my my fingernails whenever I was a baby. Those were not hair cutting scissors.
No,
those wouldn't.
Those were safety scissors.
Yeah, those were slightly less safety than safety scissors, but mostly safety scissors.
Yeah.
So one of our other new people, and part of this conglomeration that has rolled in tonight, our local establishment.
Great name. Great name.
Yes.
Greetings. I would like to visit our local establishment.
Yes. It's
I'm
right
going to do that tonight.
It's right next to the local medical facility.
Your jokes usually don't make me laugh. That one was pretty good. That was pretty good.
So he, or whoever they are, clarified the World Cup is every 4 years, and it is with international clubs.
Right. That's why
I don't know what qualifies a club to be an international. If you're in Europe,
they play more than one nation.
It's your all SEC, to put it in your
my vernacular.
Yeah, it's your all SEC football team. Yes,
we like us some football, so yeah, that's pretty good. All right, well, I'm
or,
trying.
Or
to
I guess all state. More accurately, it would be like all state.
I did sit and actually
like the
watch.
insurance company.
No, like the bat.
So we're not in good hands.
Like the sweet, like ask Trey. That's the Sweet 16. All state.
I will.
He knows that. He knows about it. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I knew all that. I just wanted to see how far I could keep getting you out there.
Great. That's real.
Yeah,
great.
I could tell. I looked over at you and I saw something out of the corner of my eye, and it's like, I'm just going to let you go with this because I know you're putting them on.
It's all-star teams from each country, our local establishment.
Yes.
The only one looking out for my good.
Yes,
is helping me in the chat room.
Yeah, it's like the all-state team. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Canada Spaceman. I had to actually lead in just to see where the breaks went.
It's a good name.
Says
we got a lot of good names in the chat tonight.
Comments, predictions. That's my favorite part. I've never seen it before, but I will like it.
Well,
so
good.
Love the enthusiasm.
We do it every. I'm sorry. Can you remind me of our friend's name again?
That would be Canada Spaceman.
Well, Mr. Spaceman. We do it every week. Thanks for joining us this week. We invite you back next week, man. Thank you.
Yeah, come hang out with us 7 p.m. on Wednesday.
Not just with us, all the great people in the chat as well. The chat is if they haven't accepted you as one as their own already, it's only a matter of time, man. The chat is great every week on here. So
yeah.
So Prairie Pro Wrestling, which is a great name, it makes me PP.
That's good. PPW.
Yeah.
Pew pew. Pew pew.
They when we acknowledged them earlier, I think it was when I acknowledged them in the chat. They replied, "Thank you and happy to be here." And apparently, their video production guy is at our local establishment.
Oh, okay.
And he asked us to jump in and check out the show. So
wow.
So that's lovely. We are so glad
Thank
to
you
have
so
you.
much.
Yeah, seriously.
So let's see. Wrestling's biggest fan has a theory.
Okay.
Is Chris Exodus really Evil Z?
No.
I don't believe so.
I've never seen them in the same place at the same time, which is what you're supposed to say in these conversations.
Well, yeah. And neither is Showtime Shanklin, for that matter. We debunked that when Showtime was on the show.
That's true.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
That's how the Come On Man originated.
Yeah.
No, and I actually don't mind where WBF's head is at, because if you remember, prior to Super Z getting his Legion of Goons, Chris Exodus was the first person.
The Doom Syndicate.
Legion of Goons, the Gooners, the Goon Squad. They're gooning right now. Chris Exodus was the first kind of. I mentioned the theory that maybe this was a recruitment of sorts. So maybe there is still a little bit of Super Z or Evil Z. Oh, gosh, if I could speak, WBF, go ahead.
That is a deduction.
Maybe there's still a little bit of Star Rider floating around in Chris Exodus's head, but that remains to be seen.
You know, you called that right off the bat.
You really did. Give that man some points.
Okay, I will undo the deduction.
Thank you.
And I will do an addition.
So J.J. Lawson said a lot of things, but the one that I caught was he said, and I need you guys to help me interpret this.
Okay.
2 + 2 equals blue fish emoji. This is how you describe lovely Miss Larkin.
There's no logic.
There's not.
2 + 2 equals fish.
I mean, yeah. It's just there's laws. Apparently, they also did their secret handshake in the chat.
That, yeah.
I decided not to actually include that because, keep
it's a secret.
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
So we didn't. But we're so glad to have JJ and lovely Miss Larkin come join us in the chat room tonight.
That was great of you to stop by. We really appreciate that.
JJ
all of you, for that matter.
JJ Lawson also getting dangerously close to 2 different Radiohead references in that comment. 2 different Radiohead references.
Matthew Berry has arrived in the chat room.
Hey, Matthew.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew, by the way, for texting me earlier today, thanking us for 100 episodes. Appreciate that, buddy. Got a couple bottles of bourbon this past week. Might send your way, Matthew, next time I see you.
Okay, unless you brought one for the whole class.
Everybody knows Matthew is my favorite. So.
All right. Wrestling's biggest fan says, "I miss Big Red." Do they still have that in Louisville? The chewing gum? Wrestling's biggest fan. Is there a Louisville monument called Big Red?
Well,
I'm from Cincinnati, so where I'm from,
you have
it's
the
Big Red
Reds.
Machine.
Yeah.
Big Red, I think, is the name of the mascot at Western Kentucky University. But
right,
that's
the Hilltoppers. Yeah.
He's he looks like Mortimer from the Looney Tunes.
Or Red Grimace.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big hill.
Yeah.
He's just he's basically me if I dressed all in red, but I don't do that.
Fairly sure his name is
Louisville.
Big Red.
All right, but no, they have that in Western Kentucky. If it's the chewing gum, I have no idea.
Or the sody.
Oh.
Or the soda, yeah.
I've seen Big Red. It's been a while, but I haven't really looked for it.
We will investigate.
I almost guarantee Big Red. Who's looking for it? WBF.
Yeah.
WBF, if you're trying to travel to Junction City, Kentucky, and watch some OVW, I almost guarantee that they have it in Junction City, Kentucky.
The soda,
Big Red, yes. I would be willing to bet money on it, and I don't have a lot of money, but
yeah,
Junction City's a big red town. All right, you get
That's part of the Barks family, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you get all the weird sodas in places like Junction City.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do some calendar, shall we?
Love to.
Right now in our channel, in 5 minutes, go look at it. It is the OVW podcast, episode 100. It is super long because we get into all the old stories. We talk, we reminisce. It was a lot of fun. Go listen. Also, go listen to this.
I think they're mostly news stories too. I think that there's a couple that we had touched on, but I think they're mostly news.
There were definitely some news stories in there.
Yeah.
Also, our interview with Mr. Edwards, the new CEO of OVW, that came out on Monday. Make sure you go check that out. Let's look to the future. Tomorrow, in just 23 hours' time, in 22 hours' time, doors will open at 6:15 for OVW Rise. Matches will start about 6:30. You'll see some overdrive things. At 7 o'clock, it is OVW Rise, 2 hours of the hottest action anywhere in Louisville, Kentucky on a Thursday night. Do not miss it. If you cannot be there in person, watch it on Louisville. Watch it on YouTube. Watch it on Triller or Fight TV or whatever they're calling themselves now. Then Triller, yes. And they no shows this weekend, right? I don't think they have a house show this weekend.
No.
So the next time we will be back is next Tuesday when presumably Overdrive will be new. Yes, Brian says thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Overdrive will be new, and you can catch that. That is the show that always kicks out at 2, but it may be in flux right now. I'm not sure if Kennison and Stephen are going to continue to do that. I've heard some things, but I don't really know.
Have you checked the flux capacitor?
I've not, but I will look into it right after this show.
Well, we know Kennison's busier than ever. So
Yes. New book. Kennison wrote a book.
He wrote a book.
Wow,
called
really?
Specs.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on Kennison. Really, I know that he was staying busy over the summer with some other stuff. I know that, the new gig at OVW and now a book. Good for Kennison, man. That's awesome.
So we've got Kennison with a book, Big Zo with a book,
The book.
Isaiah's
and
writing a book.
Isaiah's written a book too.
And Al Snow has a coin.
Al Snow's got
and
a book
extra
also.
books.
Yeah.
Al Snow's got self-help.
But,
Available at all your best booksellers, your fine booksellers.
But, considering Brian's new book, he's really having a Kennaissance.
Ooh, I like it.
Okay, that's actually not bad.
That was good, too. That was good, too. Yeah. Wow. I think he's you know what it was? And you can see this moment unfold as we on our way out here on our YouTube channel, on our podcast. It was sports people. He hit an all-time low yesterday with sports people. And now he's on his way back up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have nowhere else to go because Sports People was trash.
Thank you guys so much for watching us this evening.
We'll be back next Wednesday.
We'll be back next Wednesday for all of us here at the. I said it. I got it, guys. I know how to.
He said it. You said it. I'm going to say it too.
I know how to throw away a show, and the same way you guys just threw away my ending. Let me try again. For all of us here at Blacklight Moon Productions, the OVW podcast, I am Jack Minogues.
He's Jack Minogues.
He's Brian Hines. For Tiny Brian Woodard.